Mathematics in Ancient Greece.
The Greeks made mathematics into one discipline, transforming a varied collection of empirical rules of calculation into orderly and systematic unity.
Greeks mathematics refers to mathematics texts written during and ideas stemming from the Archaic period through Hellenistic and Roman period. By the Hellenistic period, the Greeks had presided over one of the most dramatic and important revolutions in mathematical thought of all time. Mathematic or hieroglyphic numeral. Symbolic number notation used by the ancient Greeks. They were also known as hieroglyphic numerals because they were first described in 2nd century manuscript by Herodotus. It is also a base 10 system.
Thales-intercept theorem. Intercept theorem, also known as Thales theorem, basic proportionality theorem or side splitter theorem, is an important theorem in elementary geometry about the ratio of various line segments that are created if two intersecting lines are intercepted by a pair of parallels. Thales is one of the 7 sages of ancient Greece who lived on the Ionian coast of Asia Minor in the first half of 6th century BCE.
Pythagoras of Samos, believed to have coined both the words philosophy, love of wisdom, and mathematics, that which is learned. He is the first to realize that a complete system of mathematics could be constructed.
3 geometrical problems, also referred to as the 3 classical problems, and all to be solved by purely geometric means using only a straight edge and a compass, date back to the early days of Greek geometry.
Hippocrates of Kos, one such Greek mathematician who applied himself to these problems. His contribution to the squaring of circle problem known as the Loan of Hippocrates.
His influential book, The Elements, the first compilation of the elements of geometry, and his work was an important source for Euclid's later work. It was the Greeks who first grappled with the idea of infinity, such as described in the well-known paradox attributed to the philosopher Zeno of Elea in the 5th century BC. The most famous of his paradox is that of Achilles and the tortoise, which describes a theoretical race between Achilles and tortoise. Achilles gives the much slower tortoise a head start by the time Achilles reaches the tortoise starting point. The tortoise has already moved ahead by the time Achilles reaches the point of the tortoise has moved on against, etc. So that in principle that swift Achilles can never catch up the slow tortoise.
Aristotle was the first of many to try to disprove the paradox, particularly as he was a firm believer that infinity could only ever be potential and not real. Zeno's so-called dichotomy paradox are based on the infinite divisibility of space and time and rest on the idea that a half plus a quarter plus an eighth plus 16, etc. to infinity will never quit equal a whole.
Most famous of his prescient idea about all matters being composed of tiny atoms. A pioneer of mathematics and geometry in the 5th and 4th century BCE.
He produced work with titles like On Numbers, On Geometry, On Tangencies, On Mapping. This work have not survived. We do know that he was among the first to observe that a cone or pyramid has 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder or prism, with the same base and height, and he is perhaps the first to have seriously considered the division of objects into an infinite number of cross-sections.
The mathematician is the best known for his description of 5 Platonic solids, but the value of his work as the teacher and popularizer of the mathematics can be overstated.
Eudoxus of Cnidus. is usually credited with the first implementation of the method of exhaustion later developed by Archimedes, an early method of integration by successive approximation which he used for the calculation of the volume of the pyramid and cone. He also developed a general theory of personality proportion, which was applicable to incommensurable irrational magnitude that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two whole numbers as well as to measurable rational magnitude, thus extending Pythagoras'